Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we are bringing something that I've wanted to review for the longest time. Interstella 5555, the story of the secret star system. That's a mouthful, I know. But anyways, now if you grew up in the early 2000s, if you're like for me, I was a teenager back then, but in the early 2000s, there was this big band growing in the United States, and more so, it was from the UK, but it was becoming huge out in America. That would be known as Daft Punk. Now, Daft Punk is one of these groups that I think blew the industry away because I don't think people expected this to happen with this group. They're a dance electronica slash, like I want to say techno type group that exists that have always done their music in a very interesting way. And I mean, not saying they're not relevant anymore. They're still very big. I mean, they still do movie soundtracks. They were Tron not that long ago. They also do various collabs with other people. Like I think they just recently did, and this kind of dates the video, but they did one with The Weeknd, which was a great song. But Daft Punk was really big by themselves in the early 2000s. Now, what song they were known best for was "One More Time," which was off their Discovery album. Now, if you grew up back in the 2000s, you might have saw various music videos for "One More Time." And "One More Time," the music video that came out for it was an animated music video. It was all anime, and I thought that was so cool because back then we didn't really see that for music videos. I mean, they have been cartoon type music videos, but not anime music videos, especially not in America. Now, what was cool though was that many years later, so 2003 at the time, that was like I think a little bit after, maybe like 3 or 4 years after their kind of Discovery album, maybe even shorter than that. Toei, what they did was they teamed up with Daft Punk and they ended up making a short 65-minute long movie called Interstellar 5555. Now, what's interesting about this movie is that this is not your conventional anime movie. This is all a music video that is just one giant length story, but that's all music. It's all it is. There's no voice acting, no one talks. It's just music video. And what's really cool about that is that you almost think that wouldn't work. You almost think, oh well, that how can that work? How can that be even a good thing? What actually comes out of this is one of the cooler, more unique type anime movies that even today still holds up because not only is the animation very good for it, but the music is awesome. I mean, Interstellar 5555 has the Discovery album, which if you're not a Daft Punk fan, you might not get the whole point of that. But for me, the Discovery album was one of their best. I mean, I think that was one thing that put them on the map in the first place. That was their quintessential album. That was the one everyone knows of because of One More Time alone. I mean, people bought that song for that. Then there was Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, which is another huge song, and Aerodynamic, which was all guitar, so that's like synthesized guitar. That was just there are so many good songs of that I can't even I can list them like all day long, and I will not do that because that would bore you guys. But the Discovery album was amazing, and to have that in a film was even better. But let's talk about what this was. This kind of weird thing. So the main story for and I'm not getting into the whole kind of little details of it because there's not really a big story here. I mean, the story here is kind of generic. What we have, well, I don't want to even say generic because that's almost kind of insulting to it. But I'll explain it with this. So what we have is we have a group of aliens on a distant planet far away playing music. They're playing One More Time. That is their first song they're playing. And that's one of the best things. I think that was a smart way of doing it because One More Time was, of course, their biggest song. So I think opening up with that is also a good idea. But ironically enough, they get kidnapped by another alien group, it looks like. And, so they're trying to escape, and that's when they start playing a different song at that point. And, during all the sequences of events, they start playing different songs, which is really kind of cool. But the whole point is then they kind of have a pilot that must save them who works on a like as a bounty hunter of sorts. He's a huge fan of the people in the show that are actually doing the music, that are the band and the alien band, and he's trying to save them from the aliens that stole them, which actually the aliens that stole them were Earthlings. It was us that stole this alien band to come play here and to disguise them as Earthlings also, so this way it would look like, oh, it's an Earth band playing a song and getting famous and stuff like that. And it's just kind of collides into this crazy, like, oh, there's a hidden organization that's controlling music secretly, and they're trying to get this huge band to get more and more famous, to give a giant, like, I think power unit to something, so they have to get all these golden discs, which if you guys don't know, when you when you do a lot of good music, you get a golden, record, which is, they're trying to say that actually has some power when you get a whole bunch of them. It's outrageous story. It's not anything that crazy per se, but it's also very outrageous at the same time. So it's one of those stories you're like, what? But it makes sense too at the same time because of how they kind of do the music and how it works, everything, synchronicity wise. Now, animation wise, like I said, this is 2003, so you're going to expect some older animation styles, especially in terms of the art style. But honestly, it doesn't look bad. I watched it recently because I actually do know where I could watch this online. I'm not gonna say where you can watch this online, but there are many places. I mean, this is not hard to find online. You can find this almost like every website out there. But I watched it recently, and it still looks pretty good. I mean, it has some very strong animation. This is probably Toei's like greater work, and I hate to say it because Toei has some good stuff, but they also have some kind of crappy material out there. This is definitely one of their bigger stuff. I mean, this came out. This looks really good, and still looks good in 2016. So that's awesome. Um, Music wise, I don't have to say it. Music is the best part of this. This is what, realistically, what you're watching this for is to watch the whole Discovery album, to listen to it, and watch it at the same time. Because, like I said, there's no written dialogue, there's no per se story that's being portrayed that they need voice actors and all that. It just uses music and sound effects. And I think that's awesome. And like I said before, Discovery has a basically, like if it was 12 songs, we'll say that, if just giving us a sum of it. If it had 12 songs on it, about like 10 of those songs are good, and a few are hit or miss here and there, but they still work in the movie's aspect. Now, you can kind of figure out what's going to happen in the story. It's not like it's going to be anything, crazy in terms of like what's going to happen exactly, or what will happen at the end. I mean, you could figure out all of that. But here's the thing. This is a movie that, for its time and for its kind of concept, was very, very different. I mean, there are music videos that exist like that. There are movies that are around in our time period that have only music. And it's not like it's unknown to do that. But it's a rarity, first and foremost. But it's even more rare that an anime movie does it without any voice acting. Because I've seen a lot of anime movies with voice acting and other things, and then also music. This just goes music. I think it's really cool. Now, besides all that, what would I give this kind of anime movie? What would I give it as a score, A through F? It's hard because in many ways I have to stay very unbiased with this because I'm a huge fan of Daft Punk, but Daft Punk, of course, might not be for everyone. It's a style in its own, and if you're not a fan of electronica / dance music, you might not be a fan of this movie. So if I had to really realistic review this movie, I don't know if I said that correctly, but hopefully I did. But if I had to review this A through F, I have to give it a solid B+. And that's staying on the end of making sure that, hey, if you don't like the music of this, you'll at least like the story concept, you'll like the originality to it, you'll also think that, hey, it's something different. Now, I would love to give this an A+. I really would. I would love to give it an A+. Hell, an A would be awesome. But I have to understand that you have to knock a whole, grade off of it because the fact remains is that this is a music video. And the thing about that is that not every single genre of music is loved by every single person. I mean, there are people that love dance music, there are people who hate dance music, there are people who love country music, there are people who hate country music. And to have a whole story set up around that, have a whole 65 minutes of dance music and electronic music, I might love that, but equally the person next to me might hate that. And that's understandable. So I can't give it a perfect score. I can't give it a high rating either because that is what this is. But I think a B+, even if you're not a huge fan of electronic music, you'll find something here because One More Time was a huge, huge thing back then. And people loved it. I mean, still today, people love One More Time. It's one of those songs that even if you're not a huge fan of the genre, you might like if you listen to it. Anyways, guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this review. As always, if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, share the video. You know the whole nine. I am sorry that this is almost 10 minutes long, but I had to talk about my love for this because I've always wanted to do this, and this is finally the first time I've been able to sit down and review it. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Until our paths cross in the next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.